Netflix's Tekken Bloodline is how you should do a video game series TV adaptation. One of the biggest issues I find with movie or television adaptations of video game franchises is that for whatever reason, they often choose to stray so far from the source material that the project falls apart or feels as though it has no link whatsoever to the property whose namesake it bastardized. These adaptations can often feel like a cheap way to take advantage of the nostalgic feelings the audience has towards a franchise and swipe a quick $1 or $3 off the goodwill a property has managed to garner with its fans. I was happy to discover that Bloodline was no such project. The respect and love the creators of Tekken Bloodline have for the Tekken franchise can be felt in nearly every frame throughout the 6-episode series, and it is this passion for the source material that makes Bloodline worthwhile. Tekken Bloodline tells the coming-of-age story of one of the series' most significant characters, Jin Kazama. Jin lives a relatively peaceful life in the woods where he spends most of his days studying various academic subjects and getting the absolute piss beaten out of him by his mother, Jin Kazama. Jin has been training Jin in the style of Kazama martial arts since he was extremely young and does her best to raise Jin to be a respectful, compassionate, and thoughtful young man. Jin in particular has a habit of allowing himself to be consumed by anger when he is frustrated by the circumstances he finds himself in or is provoked by others. So Jin takes special care in the training of him to teach Jin the importance of managing his emotions and the dangers of being overcome by hatred. These cautions will become ever more important as the story continues and the mysteries of Jin's bloodline are revealed. Jin's peaceful life comes to a screeching halt one day when Jin and his mother are seemingly out of nowhere greeted by a demonic entity following a fight Jin and Jun had with the father of a local boy in the area. Jin can sense that something very evil and very powerful has approached them and warns Jin to stay inside their home no matter what happens. Jun fights valiantly to protect her son from the monster, but after a short conflict is overcome by the otherworldly strength of the beast. Jin leaves the house and tries to protect his mother, but his efforts are futile, and he is quickly swallowed away. In one final act of motherly love, Jun traps the beast in an armbar that will put Ronda Rousey to shame and sacrifices her life to keep the beast held down so it will remain trapped and allow Jin to escape to safety. As Jin watches his reality come tumbling down around him, his mom's final command, "Find your grandfather, Heihachi Mishima," echoes in his ear, and Jin's journey for strength and revenge now begins its course. Fighting game stories aren't known for being literary masterpieces, and Tekken Bloodline doesn't break this mold, but I found the story absolutely serviceable as it provides us with a compelling enough reason for Jin to be motivated the way that he is, and gives us an excuse to see characters that we know and love do what they do best. Throw some hands. Jin in the Tekken games has always had big Sigma male energy. He is brooding with very few words, has a lone wolf complex, and trust issues. But what I appreciate is the added layer of depth the Bloodline added to him as a character. In the blink of an eye, Jin had everything taken away from him. He lost his home, his community, and the only person in the world that loved him in a matter of minutes as a young boy who was absolutely powerless to do a single thing about it. The fleshing out of this piece of Jin's backstory makes his character relatable and allows us as an audience to empathize and understand why he is as serious of a young man as he appears to be in the games. I especially appreciated how Bloodline even gave us a reason for the flames on Jin's training outfit. For him, they represent his burning desire for revenge, as well as his desire to never forget the trauma he experienced on the day of his mother's passing. What was once just an edgy 90s character design decision now became a subtle method of characterization. It's such a cool detail that they certainly didn't have to acknowledge, but they did, and I'm thankful for it. And speaking of attention to detail, something else I greatly appreciated with Tekken Bloodline's insistence on utilizing the character's moves and strings from the video game series with near one-to-one accuracy. Many movies and film adaptations will add a character's signature moves to a character's arsenal when adapting a fighting game to a movie, because they know these additions are crowd pleasers, and in some cases if they don't, there would be nothing keeping their movie from coming across as a generic martial arts film with no tie to the franchise they claim to be adapting. Tekken Bloodline is on the opposite end of this spectrum, adapting the character's movements with their in-game counterparts with a level of detail that I feel is frankly unheard of in most adaptations. Ling Xiaoyu's back 1-2 are here, along with her Art of Phoenix stance and subsequent movement shenanigans, which in universe are identified as making her harder to hit and are used to annoy and tire out the opponent just like they are in the game. Balrog has his flamingo stance cancels and hunting hog, Paul has his shredder kicks, Demo Man combo and his beastly death fist, King has his Sobot and chain grabs, Heihachi has his 1-1-2 string and his electrics. It's all here, animated fluidly and beautifully crafted. The series even has the damn hit sparks that occur when characters are blocking or taking damage from attacks. I nerded out so heavy during the fight scenes in this 6-episode run, and I think that if you are a fan of Tekken games, you're going to geek out on how accurately your favorite character's move list has been portrayed in animation. I only had a few hangups in my time with Tekken Bloodline. This is nitpicky, but I thought that some of the character designs were strange at times. In particular, I felt Jin looked a little too youthful, especially when compared to his in-game model. Balrog's face looked kinda weird in some shots too, but those gripes are hella nitpicky. I noticed him reuse animation at times that was jarring in a few of the episodes, but it honestly made me laugh more than it affected my enjoyment of the series. Also, some of the English voice acting was a bit hit and miss. I ended up really liking both Jin and Jun's English dub, but English Heihachi for me was just not doing it. His voice lacked the intimidation factor of his Japanese counterpart, and some of his line reads were just odd. I didn't hate him, but for as much screen time as Heihachi got, his English VA was just not the one for me. I was honestly impressed with Tekken Bloodline. It's a short but sweet 6-episode ride that I would definitely be down for seeing more of if it gets greenlit for a season 2. You don't have to be a Tekken fan to enjoy it, but I think those who have a love for the games will get the most out of it. The additional pieces added to the crazy lore of Tekken, coupled with the attention to detail when it comes to the characters' moves and personalities, is a sight to behold and guaranteed to make fighting game lovers grin from ear to ear. So my recommendation is to grab your controller or arcade stick, boot up your PC, and start wave dashing towards your Netflix account to watch some Tekken Bloodline. You won't be disappointed.